Yo, welcome back to the Licka House podcast. Bike. It's your boy Jay Fennell checking in.
It's your boy Chuck. Never gave a fuck.
Alright. And sitting in with us, as always, we got a homeboy, Quinn, aka Swole Business in the building. Round of applause. But, yeah, boys, welcome to a new episode of Season 2, Episode 2 of the Licka House podcast.
Wow.
And today we're going to be coming to y'all talking about red flags. But before we get into all that, what y'all been up to, man? How y'all doing?
All right, man. It's been a good week. Busy week. But good. Can't complain.
Chuck, you?
You know.
The boys on the fuck out.
Nah, I was looking for the Bluetooth button. But, I've been alright.
Why would you look for the Bluetooth button?
You said, why was I looking for it?
You gonna connect to it?
Hell yeah.
Just turn your Bluetooth on.
I did.
Oh, probably.
Anyway.
My phone probably connected.
That's probably what it is. Yeah. Nah, it's alright.
Yeah.
Would have had a little
Oops.
bit.
My bad.
Maybe
second half.
Maybe, if we don't forget.
Right. But thanks to everybody tuning in. We live right now from Xavier Odenson's Facebook. Ooh, it's been a long day of drinking. Yeah. But anyway, welcome. Like I said, I'm Jay Fennell. And as customary to every episode, the first thing we're going to do. Well, I got to leave this shit alone.
Maybe start over.
Nah, we ain't starting over. First thing we're going to do, we're going to take these shots.
Hey.
We're taking shots up.
Yeah, man.
Then we do the regular crown.
Thank you.
Well, I was getting tongue-tied like a motherfucker. God, man.
I thought it was a Bluetooth button on that bitch.
Put me a shot.
Dang, I didn't know this shot glass is that big. It sounds so much. Pause.
Hey, yo. Hey, let me get that cranberry juice.
Dang, that shit do goo. Goddamn.
Maybe a crown.
But yeah, like I was saying, I'm doing pretty good, man. That 3-in-1 feeling.
Oh yeah, we 3-in-1 now after the day. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my girls, man. Y'all did well.
You know what I mean?
Proud of y'all.
No,
we got some Evan Williams too, but ain't nobody drinking that shit. It's just here for aesthetics.
Hey man, shout out to our nigga Evan.
Like we get through half of that bottle, but
we gonna finish it at some point.
One day.
Y'all gonna finish it.
Far away from today.
You know what, Quinn? Take a shot at Yvonne.
No, I'm good on Mr. Evan Williams.
Poor man's Jack Daniels.
Hey.
But it gets you through some hard times.
It does the job.
It does do the job. But cheers, fellas.
Yay.
Tink, 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 tink. Round of applause, gunshot.
That was not a round of applause, but it was gunshots.
I hadn't taken a shot of regular Crown in so long.
That's what it tastes like?
Woo!
It got me a little bit too.
That's why I do the flavored ones.
It made me want to go. Boo! Oh man, but you know what? This is gonna be a fun episode, so I really don't want to delay it too long. So I'm about to go ahead and get into it. Goddamn red flags, but real quick. So earlier on my Instagram, I did put up a question, what are some red flags people notice? I may have more by now, so if I don't put your response in, I apologize, because we're recording already. One of them said being insecure.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, go to my Instagram page real quick. I can just read it from there.
Okay. So do we want to start off with reading what people may view as...
Which one?
As red flags, or how do we want to...
I mean, we can kind of dive into it a little bit. Like, my main one. Okay. When I think about being, insecure, I guess it's, insecure to the point of you're dating somebody.
Uh-huh.
They have a friend who's of the opposite sex. and your insecurity won't allow you to believe that they're just strictly friends.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
That's how I looked at it.
Okay. Wasn't sure if it was from like a self-doubt type of perspective.
Nah, and then like another person said, you know, when dating, when women have no impulse control, arguing, reckless spending, mini tats, etc. Now, I don't really care about the tats.
No.
Red flag.
And I guess just to, put that out there, just as a disclaimer, it'll be, we're doing men and women, you know, in case people want to.
There's equal opportunity.
So it's going to be equal opportunity, so we don't want anybody to come back later and tell us we hate women or we want us on hard as the men or anything like that. You know
what's a red flag? Women breathing.
You know, it's not going to be, because it's the stigma that goes with these podcasts and all that stuff like that. This is definitely not one of those. It's definitely for everybody. And I guess just with these, so it originally started out as a joke. You know, it came about because there was just some trend on Twitter some months back, well over a year ago now, and people were just saying, you know, what's a red flag this? And it started off as funny and everything, and people were saying, you know, just whatever. You know, it started off goofy and stuff like that, but then some people were putting theirs, and I jumped in the conversation and stuff like that. So I in turn took from Twitter, brought it to Facebook. Again, it was just all in good fun. And people started liking it, so I'm like, okay, we'll keep it going. And next thing I know, people are like, do more. And so I was like, all right, because originally started off with the women, and then
sidebar.
Yeah.
You have one of the most interactive social media followings out of anybody I know personally. Like, real shit. I'll post some shit, the same 2-3 people respond. You know, you post shit, it'd be like 3,000 messages or responses later. Like, god damn. Now, what's funny is I've been on your post and argued with motherfuckers before.
Yeah.
That's a red flag. Like, I know it's, I'm kind of talking about myself, but like, to argue with somebody else because they posted an opinion, to me is a red flag.
Yeah, and I will say, you know, when it came to these, most of these, you know, came from myself. But seems like every week somebody's like, oh, use this or use that the next time or whatever. So I definitely didn't expect it to, I guess, stick. Yeah. You know, because it was just a joke, and then people liked it. So I'm like, okay. So instead of the social media trend was Man Crush Monday and Woman Crush Wednesday. So I was like, okay, we're gonna turn this around to Man Chaos Monday and Woman Chaos Monday with these red flags, and you know, it's fun. I like doing it. I've thought about just stopping it, but then someone will always give a suggestion.
Wednesdays are my favorite. Wednesday, not because he's bashing women, but because the last one is always like.
I about to say he take a little pride. You know, one red flag in there.
If she can swallow a hot dog whole, he'll put like one red flag, and he'll be like ... Better yet, call me. We have things to discuss. What the fuck?
And that's what it is, because it's always, you know, something of...
Yeah, I was with that one day.
Yeah, it's always just something like... And I genuinely think, like, at the end of the day, there's always something about everybody. All of us have our own particular stuff. Stuff that we won't put up with. But there's also some stuff, is it really so bad after all? You know, no.
So, personally, before we get into, like, a deeper list...
Sure.
And other people. Chuck, I'm going to ask you first. What is your red flag about yourself?
About myself.
Focus.
Hey. I'm focused. I guess the red flag about myself is that people probably don't think I take stuff seriously all the time.
Okay.
Because I'm always just chill or joking around.
So being nonchalant is a red flag?
Probably.
Okay. Quinn?
I'll say for myself, I can be stubborn to the point of I will not necessarily argue with somebody about it, but to the point to where it can come off as nonchalant sometimes, or it's just like I'm 10 toes down on this and that's it. And just being unwilling to budge. What's something that I could probably give some leeway on or be willing to hear out or whatever. But if I'm in there and if I planted my feet in it, like that's it. So I'll probably say that's stubbornness has got me in trouble sometimes.
Okay. So for me personally, I have many.
Okay.
So he a carnal.
One of my red flags. I am an asshole for no reason. I will crack jokes and poke fun in some of the most non-hilarious situations.
Okay.
I think that's just how I cope with shit. I try to find a joke in everything. Mm-hmm. Another red flag for me, well, it's not a red flag anymore since, I done got married and shit. But prior to that, I would flirt with people just to see if I could. Like, you know how many times I was like, ask somebody for their number and I never called, never texted? I have ghosted people just for the fuck of it, just to see what would happen. Like, I like to do like weird social experiments like that.
Wow.
Red flag. Red flag.
Yeah. But you own it though.
I own it.
You okay.
I own it. Yeah. And I've improved. I stopped doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But that was big for me.
Okay.
And sometimes I'm a little cocky, but that's another story for another day. I'm not even gonna get into that. I'm not about to air out all my dirty laundry.
I understand. That's another podcast for a different day.
Hey, I'm fake humble.
Yeah, I'm real humble.
Hey.
I seen the bottom. I ain't trying to go back.
No, we don't like being at the bottom. Started from the bottom.
Yeah.
Now we hit.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, so that's mine. But you did bring some red flags with you.
I did.
So let's get into that. Let the kids cheer for that.
Yeah, and so what I just wanted to, because again, like I said, it all started off as just jokes. I myself didn't take it seriously until people started like, oh, this reminds me of somebody I know, or my ex was like this, or I know somebody like this, and it's just like, okay. And I'm like, all right, well, let me keep doing it. Now that people are starting to have some fun with it.
I've only made about 10% of the list.
And what I find funny about it is, while there are jokes with it and all that stuff, for the most part, there is some truth in it. People will in turn. People in turn look at it and be like, okay, where did you get this from, or any of that stuff? But I just tell them like, hey, some of these are suggestions. Some of these are things that I myself have come up with.
Facebook.
Facebook, Instagram Live.
Facebook, yeah.
Live.
But some of these are things that I've come up with. But and a lot of them are things that some of them you would feel like would be common sense. Some things are something that you may look at as, okay, let me go ahead and perhaps take a further look. Let me take another look at what this person is doing, and may alert me to maybe something I need to watch out for, or maybe there's something that I never paid attention to before, or maybe okay, this is all fun and games, or it's like, hey, this is something that I do, or whatever. And a lot of them were things that I used to do, or I may have done, whether it was on a consistent basis previously, or I had seen someone else do them, or anything like that. So when I post them, there's always feedback. There's always feedback. Somebody's going to say, oh, yeah, that's me, or what's wrong with such and such, or maybe I do such and if I'm a red flag, then so be it.
No, I tell you what gets me. Like, I always find it hilarious that people are like, yay, I guess I get a good morning today.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, you proud because you're boring? Like, just
right. And it's
red flag.
Red flag, I'm an asshole. I said it.
Right. And certain things are, again, it's funny. And certain things you just look at folks and like, wow, you really do that? Like, with the list that I brought, I just went back over like the past year, just kind of combed through the posts to see like, okay, what are some things that have really stuck out that I see people give a lot of feedback on? Reoccurring things that have, because it is tough to come up with stuff and not repeat yourself. over literally every week, with these things. What?
I'm already drunk because I was drinking earlier, so forgive me. Hey, you know what one of my red flags is for people when I see people, meet people? Mm-hmm. Like it happened the other day when I went to the doctor's office with the nurse. Mm-hmm. Old lace fronts that ain't really laying down no more. Like, she was like, oh yeah, let me, check your vitals or whatever. Uh-huh. So she put the blood pressure cuff on. Mm-hmm. And like, you saw that shit. I could see it lifting.
What a part was that?
And you could see where like she tried to cover it with the makeup to hide it. But I'm like, baby girl, you need to take that down. I'm like, oh my god.
But you can't say anything though.
I couldn't say anything. But like,
I mean, what would you have said?
What would you? Yeah, like, ma'am,
your lace is lifted. Take that wig off.
There's no nice way to. There's no nice way.
There's no nice way to say like, hey, your hair looks terrible. Redo it.
Terrible. Mm-hmm.
I was like, you wore this lace one too many times.
Mm-hmm. One too many times. Gotcha. Yeah, there's no really nice.
Get up and go. She think it's a wig at this point.
Yeah, but yeah, basically, yeah, it was fitting like one.
But yeah,
shame of it all.
But yeah, and like what I brought, so people don't think that we're bragging too much on the men, women, or whatever. We're equal opportunity around here. We like to, I keep it fair. That's why I do on Mondays. I do the one for the men and the Wednesdays for the ladies. So we'll break these up as I go through them. I'll just go down and tell who it's for or whatever, and then we can discuss as we come through.
And really quick, the views of Swole Business are not necessarily the views of the Licka House podcast and our sponsors. But I'm probably going to go ahead and tell you that I agree with damn near all of these red flags.
I'm going to just say, these jokes are ready to eat for everybody.
Like he's saying, nigga, everybody can get anybody.
Like
no one's safe.
Like Uncle Shannon Sharp.
Nobody's safe.
In the words of Trey Niner, anybody can get it.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and start. Like I said, I broke it down with the men and the women. And what I'll do is I'll just go down the list. We'll start with the men first, just because it's just the order on how it's written on here.
All right.
And then we'll go through those, discuss things like that. Then we could just go to the women, discuss things like that. Again, I don't want anybody to sit there and feel like, we're going through or whatever. These are just some of the top ones that I picked. And so here we are.
Can I do the first one? It's off the list.
Okay.
Hitting up a female you don't like to ask her to tell her friend to unblock you from Facebook because you want to be a creep and spy on everything they do.
That's weird behavior.
I know somebody that happened to.
So, yeah, I mean, some people can't take rejection well. Yeah, people need to learn to take rejection well, just because, it can literally be unsafe for folks. Mm-hmm. Especially with the men, like you'll see these stories of men that just couldn't take a no. Like case in point, the con I went to a couple weekends ago, and there was a be on the lookout for this guy that was I guess he had gone to had previous cons before, met some ladies. You go to these events, you say hey, you take your picture. You might follow each other on socials, and you leave it at that. If they want to continue talking, etc., you tag them the photo later, whatever. And this particular guy had taken it to the extreme of sending these ladies threatening messages and telling them he was going to just things I don't want to, repeat out loud on here, but just it got pretty bad to where like police were having to get involved, and even at the con, like there was a higher police presence that I've normally seen at conventions, especially with it taking place at a hotel. You don't want anybody to try and go in someone's room or anything like that. But it was a case where this person just wouldn't take no for an answer, and these women were like blocking him, and he was creating new profiles to reach out to him, type stuff. And it's just like, look, man, you go. It's just like, look, they don't want to talk to you, and leave it. Don't go out your way. And it's you could just say, just can't take rejection well. As something that is definitely can be a major red flag, because you'll see it on the news, where women have lost lives because somebody just couldn't take no for an answer. She got followed somewhere, he showed up to her job, whatever it is. But yeah, anytime someone, you see these guys that hear the word no and they take it as a challenge, as opposed to no being a complete sentence. It's just like you want to kind of just, definitely just keep an eye out on stuff like that.
Because when you be a creep, you get gunshots.
Ladies, strap up. Fellas learn to take no for an answer. For that, so we'll go to a more lighthearted one because they got kind of dark really fast.
Yeah. Let's pick up the mood.
They got a little dark.
As a matter of fact, in order to pick up the mood, let's take a shot.
Hey, they gonna take a shot.
They
gonna take a shot.
So we'll do a more lighthearted one.
Let's take a shot too.
I'm supporting from the sideline.
We'll do a more lighthearted one. So I'm sure, ladies, this is.
Put the top back on, I got you.
After you put your shot.
He said put the top back on.
Yeah, Chuck, you
don't be a bitch.
So.
Wait a minute.
I said what I said.
Wait a minute. Nah.
I said what I said.
Ain't nobody no bitch.
Goddamn,
take a shot, man.
I mean, y'all gotta drag me up out of here.
So the next one we'll do a lighthearted one more.
Yeah.
Ladies, I'm sure you've gone on a date with a nice gentleman or woman, because we're equal opportunity out here, but we're sticking with the men right now. First, let's go ahead and cheers first before we
tink tink.
Clink 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 clink.
I had to stop using glass, y'all. I got tired of washing dishes.
Little red cups.
But
chasing the bullet.
I'm sure you've gone on a date, function, whatever, with a gentleman. You rode with him to the function. He drops you off, and he just leaves without making sure you got in. Some people think nothing of it, but it's like just courtesy. Why aren't you making sure that the person got back in?
I was not so lighthearted.
It is a little bit more lighthearted. But it's just one of those things. But you couldn't check and make sure I got in.
It is.
Couple that with not texting to make sure if you go separately,
I gotta see you
got home safe.
I see you at least walk through the door.
It's like at the very least, it's like that. You couldn't check and see if I made it.
Hope you get inside. Or what?
My whole thing was, you get inside. You inside. I don't know what's waiting in there for you. After that, it ain't my problem. Hey, at least you got inside.
But at least make sure they cross the threshold up the door. With that.
And then just in there waiting in the shadows. Jump out. Have been waiting for you all night.
That's clear.
Okay, here's another one. Here's something that's not as dark, but we'll say that they treat the wait staff bad.
Okay. So these unisex ones.
Well, no, we're still doing the guys first, and then we'll go to the women. You'll know the women one.
But that's definitely unisex.
But it's definitely a unisex one, you could say. As someone that my first real job was in food service, it's just like, dang, you can't be nice to the wait staff. These are the people that are handling your food. These are people who make sure that your order's correct and all that stuff. And you're just, rude for no reason. You're just, you talk down to these folks. You are making them feel like they're beneath you, type stuff. And it's just like, if you people doing this stuff, it's definitely something. Definitely something to keep an eye out for.
So it'll take a few seconds.
Because if you're rude to wait staff, who else are you gonna be rude to? If you can't even treat the people handling your food right, who else? What else is gonna be there after that?
Your phone interfering with the sound.
But continuing, we'll address some hygiene here.
Oh shit! If your ass stink, it's a red.
But we'll say this person does not enjoy drinking water regularly.
Oh man, so they pee real strong.
So it's just like apple juice. Like you're not hydrated like enough. And you got I understand if you're drinking like a bottled water or something like that. Like okay, this person drinks the sun. Like okay, we know the Dasani's terrible, but if this person just doesn't regularly this person doesn't regularly hydrate. Like
well, it ain't as bad as Dearborn, but it's still terrible.
But it's like why aren't you? You're gonna ask us like why aren't you hydrating properly? And guys typically, we don't take the most care of our hygiene.
Wait, don't say
I drink my water.
I'm just saying, just men as a collective. You got a lot of guys that don't take good care of their hygiene. Whether they don't take good care of their, they don't take care of their skin. They're not bathing properly, using the right soaps.
For all the men out there listening right now, I just have one question. Did you wash your ass today?
It's like, it matters, you know, and not just like you should be in the shower for at minimum 2 songs.
Hell yeah.
At the minimum, 2 songs should be finished. Well, and you should be going into the third.
2 songs back in the day standards, 3 to 4 minutes.
Oh, right. Because I'm about to say now.
No, your average song now is about 2.5 minutes.
If you listen to Rappers Delight by goddamn Sugar Hill Gang, nigga, that's a 20-minute shower.
You need to listen to that at least once on repeat.
But you know, the average song these days is about 2.5 minutes. But you should be going through at least 2 songs.
I ain't gonna lie, man. The longer the day, the longer the shower.
Yeah, because you're like rinsing the day off and stuff.
Yeah, that.
That's what I shower too.
But yeah, but it's like you should be doing that. So yeah, but
take care of my body.
But yeah, hydration. You know, washing regularly. You know, and there's schools of thoughts about, you know, should you wash every day? It's good for your skin. Blah blah blah. Whatever. No, shower day, wash, moisturize your skin.
Please.
You know,
deodorant,
all of that.
Those dudes who say, "Oh yeah, I only need a shower every 3 days."
Yeah.
You're dirty.
You're dirty.
You stink.
You are outside.
You're oily.
Oil build up in your skin.
And you know what's crazy? Usually, they are a little less melanated.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. Usually, because
now I do know some deeply melanated that do the same thing.
I've known some guys that just aren't. You know, just hygiene. Hygiene will make or break, you know, some of your social interactions. You know.
You want to know why you ain't getting no pussy? Because you stink.
And you see these guys, you know, and this goes into, you know, my next one, that if this guy still blames high school for his current behavior.
He got his heart broken in high school.
I was bullied in high school.
You know, these girls don't talk to me because, well, I was like, no, they don't talk to you not because...
You're a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, it's like they didn't talk to you. Yeah. So they didn't talk to you because, you know, you're some of your certain interests. No, they talk to you because you ain't washed.
He talked to you because you run like you're in a fucking anime.
Like, they didn't talk to you because you sat there and made just weird animal sounds in the back of the classroom.
They didn't talk to you because the one time a girl gave you a dance at a dance for school, you nutted in your pants.
There you go. He had to take it
to the extreme. but
you're a premature ejaculator, sir.
Hey, yo. How did we get here?
How did we get to a from they ain't talking to me because I'm early.
I'm sorry.
But you do have some guys that may have peaked in high school and stuff like that, but
and they
will still live, you know, in those years. It's like, oh, they don't like it because they did it, and they've just never changed.
Because you're 45 and you live with your mom.
And it's been 15, 20 years.
touchdowns in that one high school game.
You know, and it's just like, okay, that's
nigga,
cool.
But you're 35 now. What are you
know, I see guys in the gym, oh, I used to bench such and such in high school. That was high school, man.
Now you're 35 and you bench 180.
What was that post?
And it's okay.
What was that post? The one about the food shit. I'm trying to remember it. It was like you want napkins with that or some shit. I gotta find it again.
I was like, hey man, how you been? And it was like, oh yeah, just.
Oh wait, no. Oh, I ain't see you since high school. Man, just put my hash browns in the bag.
We love our food service workers though. Food service is important. But yeah, you got these guys that will blame high school. You know, oh, I didn't talk. You know, life is this way because it's like, no, you just never changed, man. You still make weird sounds, man. Like you're just a weirdo. You're just a weirdo.
It's not still make weird sounds.
Like it's not the women of today's fault that you didn't sit there and deal with this unresolved trauma that you had.
Like, she ain't want to hold your hand because you was running down the hall like Naruto. Like,
yeah, it's like
don't get me wrong. We all got our own weird quirks, but
everybody does.
We all do.
It's certain people that just.
Some people just never.
They take it way too past the line where it's like, okay.
Yeah, some people
you're not just a fan at this point.
They
never. Reality.
They never got past it, and it's just like you got to move on, man.
You got to.
You know, you're coming up on your 20-year reunion. You got to let it go. This lady is married with a family. You got to let it go.
Got to. But real quick, we're gonna take a break from the Licka House podcast.
Okay.
Go let you hear a word from our sponsor.
Bang bang.
And we be right back. Pull up. Yo, welcome back to the Licka House podcast. Swole Business in the building, a.k.a. Quinn.
Pulling up.
Yeah, so we're going to get back into these red flags. But real quick, before we do that, it's time for them shots.
Hey, they got to take those shots.
Shots! Let me get a piece of this.
Shot.
Because they're regular a little harsh.
Everybody.
I do the flavor ones. Let me go ahead and get mine.
Man, let me top me off.
Oh, yeah, man.
Hey, yo. Hey, yo.
Appreciate you.
I got you,
All the way to the top.
I'm just on the jab. Yeah, thank you. Because I can't do no more of that hard.
Nah, you gotta get topped off too.
It's a little sticky, icky.
Ew.
Oh, man.
Another red flag.
Hey, no. He ain't filling up. No. Yeah, I see you over there. Yeah,
red flag. Niggas that pull half shots.
Hey, y'all want me slizzard. Yeah,
Babysitting drinks out here.
man, I'm babysit first off.
Bitch, you
Put your arms down. What
No, I had a strip like
yeah, okay. Take your bottle back.
Give me my peach, man.
Hey, yo! Hey, what is going on?
Hey.
Oh, boy. Never a dull moment on the Licka House podcast.
All right, cheers, fellas.
Cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
Tink, 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 tink.
All right, shall we continue?
Let's get it.
Yeah. All right, so
Topic red flags.
in continuing our discussion on the red flags, we will jump over to the ladies now. I think we got all the guys a little bit enough, which we can always get back to. So, because we're equal opportunity around here,
Hands ready to eat.
E for everyone. We'll go ahead and discuss some of what the ladies do that some people may feel like is a red flag, things to watch out for, you might side eye, things like that. So, I'm going to go ahead and just come out swinging. Swinging out the gate.
Okay.
Blaming her zodiac sign for her behavior.
Listen.
If I had to pick, out of all the ones I did, this is by far, even before I was doing red flag stuff, even before any of that stuff. And it was one of those things where, especially
I can't help it. I'm an Aries.
Oh my God.
In today's social media discourse, I try to refrain from these conversations just because as soon as you jump in there, it's stay out of women's business. It is.
Ain't nothing better than that.
It's
Capricorn.
such and such this, and it's just like, look,
assholes.
I understand we can't help when we were born,
insert zodiac sign,
and it's all because of this zodiac. Like me personally, I'm an Aquarius. I didn't care, and still don't, honestly, because I couldn't tell you what any of that meant. It's like, okay, cool, my birthday is February 3rd, 1987. I didn't. Okay, as far as I know, I was born February. People are like, oh, what's your zodiac? I didn't care to look it up.
I'm an Aquarius moon and a.
I about to say, have you ever had a girl tell you, let me do your chart?
No.
For real?
No, I've never sat down and had anybody do my chart. You know,
I ain't never had nobody do it, but you probably had plenty of girls.
No, I've had some people. Our friend Destiny, shout out to Destiny, man. But she was the last person that really asked me about it because when I was on my road trip, well, I guess it's technically 2 years ago now, but summer 2021, we were in Atlanta.
Back when he was being a homosexual. Season 1, episode 3.
But we were in Atlanta, and we were sitting down at this bar, and she just happened to ask us. She was like, "What time were you born?" And I was just like, "Shoot, I legitimately do not know. I don't." I was like, "I really don't." So I got on the phone and called my mom right then. I was like, Mom would know, obviously. So I called my mom. She was like 3:30 something in the afternoon on a Tuesday.
Time out.
Yeah.
The bitchy Mandela.
Oh yeah, shout out to Kelly.
She said, "Daddy."
Shout out to Kelly. Y'all follow her page. She actually does some nice artwork.
Yeah, wow, follow.
She actually does some nice artwork on Instagram on her page. Like it's pretty legit. Like she sells and all that stuff.
I was about to say we almost had him on the anniversary, man.
But
missed about one episode because he's on episode 3 last season.
But yeah, so I called mom. I was like, Mom, you know what time I was born? And she was just like, who's asking? And I was just like, I said, no, sitting here with my friend. She was just wanting to know. She was like, oh, okay, sure. And
your mom actually know what time it was born?
Yeah, my mom actually knew. It was like 3:30 something in the afternoon. It was a Tuesday.
I was born on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I was born on a Tuesday. And so I was just like,
Tuesday, And so, I mean, I can find mine.
Yeah, but my mom knew. She was just like, it was a Tuesday afternoon or whatever. It was a labor X amount of hours, whatever. So I was like, oh, okay. Mom, appreciate you. Love you. Bye.
But my mom don't remember the time.
And so I told her, I was just like, such and such. She's like, oh, okay. And she rattled some stuff off. Couldn't tell you what it meant or any of that stuff like that. But she was the last person that like really like genuinely asked, and she does the tarot readings and all that stuff like that. I never asked her to read me any of that stuff because for me, I'm just like, to the people that believe in it, they believe in it.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't.
I hate to go this route, but I used to talk to a girl who did that shit.
Yeah, like
It was immaculate, wasn't it?
Yeah, but she'll bust out of nowhere like, "What you telling me, spirit?" I'd be like, "Oh shit!"
Whoa!
Let me get up out of here.
Yeah, like years ago, I talked to a girl when I was in college.
They be gripping. I was like, "Hold up!"
I talked to a girl in college that like used to like read palms and all. Like she was heavy to that stuff. Like another friend of mine, the girl you met, Rose. She was into the the hoodoo and all that stuff. Like I don't sit there and speak on because I don't know enough to sit there and have any conversations about it. So I don't sit there and talk about it.
Felt like I was living the skeleton.
But to sit here and when I see these women say, "Oh, it's because I'm a Scorpio." Well, I'm a Gemini, so I behave like this. It's like no, you're just a bad person.
Not too much on Gemini.
It's like it's just
you're Cancer.
It's like just
you're on the cusp.
When I was born, I was a Gemini.
Doesn't matter. It's just. but I would tell people, I'm like, it's one of those things. It's just like which will go into my next point here. But it's just like, look. If you're a bad person, it doesn't matter what day of the year you were born. Thanks. It doesn't matter what time of the day. If you're just not a nice person, it's not because you're a Capricorn. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You're just a bad person. You don't return your shopping carts. You don't tip at restaurants. It's just
you don't return your shopping carts.
That's why all these put a quote in there.
Because they know you can return that shit.
So it's just one of those things where it's just like, okay, it's not because... But
if you don't return this shopping cart, you probably should turn the other way.
Yeah. If you don't return shopping carts, you're a bad person. I'm just going to put that out there. Like, I can't trust you.
You just walk off with it?
I mean, sometimes I just kind of leave it where...
Nah, man. You never heard of shopping cart rule? They're like, it's a unspoken like integrity test if you return
at least put in
but you can return your shopping carts, man.
You gotta walk it all the way to the store.
Yeah, you can put it back out there. Like if you go to Harris Theater, they got spots where you can sit there and drop the stuff off. Put your shopping carts back.
Sometimes.
You never just ride it over to the car?
Yeah.
Wee.
Red flag.
No. This man saying "we," man. Like
red flag niggas that say "we."
This man stick his head out the window when he's riding down, a windy road on a Saturday afternoon.
With a pinwheel.
I know my other red flags. The fact that I roll down my windows if I want somebody to hear what I'm bumping.
No one cares about your speaker system.
Exactly.
Tweeters.
Well, guess what? I'm gonna roll the windows down anyway.
I don't care about that factory ass. Factory ass.
These ain't bows.
Okay. It's okay. I'm gonna be 215s in a few.
215.
But yeah, but the zodiac sign thing, it was always one of those things that just irked me to no end. I'm like, it does not matter. It's to me, it's like the placebo effect. If you believe in it enough, you will start to attribute that. Oh, it all makes sense now.
I'm about to say
it's because I'm a Sagittarius, and then you're going to attribute everything that you do in life. The universe is speaking to me, and all that stuff like that. I get it. You can call it the universe. You can call it, whatever God that you pray to or anything like that. I'm not going to knock it. That's fine. But I'm not going to sit there and rest blame solely on what month and day of the year that I was born.
Facts.
And which leads into my next thing. It might be a little controversial. Accountability.
Whew. And
the lack thereof.
The lack of accountability.
The lack thereof. Having it is fine.
Listen.
But it's the lack thereof.
A lack of accountability is a red flag for he, her, him, she.
Anybody. It doesn't matter. Whatever you identify as. But we're talking about the women right now. And the reason why I pin this towards the women is because you will see instances of it's somehow never her fault. Those folks at her job got her effed up. It's she didn't come to my brunch.
And the whole time, this bitch got me fucked up.
Okay.
You know, it's like every year you got a new set of friends. You know, this person didn't come to the birthday.
I can't be friends with females because females are
you can't sit there and it's just like, why is that? You know, there's what's you know, and it's one of those things. It's just like, well, what's the common denominator? It can't always be. Now, is it going to be other people's fault sometimes? Sure. You know, just law of averages is going to balance out. But it can't be everybody's fault.
Clover J. Mermaid said that's just a certain type of woman.
Yeah, you know, and it's
agreed. Clover J. Mermaid.
Yeah, you know, shout out to Chloe. Hey, y'all follow her page though, Black Mermaid Shop on Instagram.
She sells black mermaids.
She's into that mermaid fae lifestyle stuff like her page is pretty legit. Like she sells some stuff and everything like that. So shout out to Chloe for that too. But yeah, so it's one of those things where, you know, and the reason why I say accountability can be controversial sometimes is because sometimes you will find people that try to weaponize and be like, oh, you know, women just don't have accountability and stuff like that. Accountability isn't gender specific, but I tailored it towards women in those instances that I named because with the zodiac sign, that's why I try to segue that into there. But because too, it's just like, okay, there has to be some type of responsibility.
We know your real name now, Chloe.
Yeah. There has to be some responsibility taken somewhere for your actions. And so it can't be everybody. Well, I'm this way because, or I'm only doing this because. And it's just like, no, there has to be some self-reflection. There has to be, you know, that look inwards is like, okay, why am I doing this? You know, as much as the discourse for men when they do certain things, it's like, okay, go talk to somebody, you know, go get therapy, go heal, etc. You know, we have to in turn this around and say, it's like, okay, the same thing goes for the women too. Mm-hmm. And I had a conversation with someone about a month or so ago, and it's just like, women don't get told to heal and go to therapy as much as men do. And I understand why men get told more is just because, you know, in our younger years as we grow up and stuff, society has made it seem like, you know, men, it's not okay to talk about our feelings. You know, you're the only two feelings that you can have if you're a man is just being mad or happy or anything like that. So we've been programmed to not really discuss our feelings. We've held it in and stuff like that, where women are seen as, quote, more emotional and things like that. You know, and still are. But I will say that sometimes you still have to, the accountability, all that stuff like that has to take place, because if not, you know, you're going to have people, it's going to become a problem the minute somebody's sister and tries to hold you accountable for your actions. They're going to see it as a personal attack. Mm-hmm. They're going to see it as, well, what are you trying to say? Or you don't understand me or anything. It's just like, no, we're not trying to say that. But at the end of the day, we're all responsible for ourselves, you know, or if you're a parent, you're responsible for your kids until they become of age where they learn how to be responsible for themselves and things like that. But as individuals, as grown adults, you know, you have to be able to take accountability for it. And I think people have we've seen in this era of social media where it doesn't happen as often as it should. Agreed.
So, speaking of that, like, not to deviate too far from the list, not to get too deep into it, but personally, for me, another red flag would be, and this is for men and women, specifically men and women of the black community, not taking mental health seriously.
Yes.
That's a huge red flag. Mm-hmm. Oh, we black, we don't need therapy. Oh, you soft because you're a black man and you cried. Oh, black men can't hug each other. Oh, you know, you ain't crazy, you just lazy. Oh, pull yourself out of it. Just pray about it.
Yeah.
No, fuck that. Sometimes the shit you going through,
but
you need someone to talk to.
You need a little extra than prayer.
Go to therapy.
Yeah. You can't pray the problem away all the time. Not saying
go
that you
to
can't,
therapy.
Yeah.
But that can't be the only, you know, of where I'm glad that it's taken more seriously now. I mean, there's still a ways to go. Mm-hmm. You know, but therapy's not just seen as, you know, that's what white people do or anything like that. You know, more and more of us are going to therapy. More and more of us are getting into the support industry and being therapists to the point now where you can just look one up, you know, and find find these things, but definitely, and I'm a firm advocate in telling people go heal. Yeah. Sit there and go talk to somebody. And when I say talk to somebody, I mean talk to a professional. Your friends are good, but your friends may not have the emotional or mental capacity to handle, and be your emotional pack mule.
And then it can be biased and just say what you want to hear.
And they may try to do that. Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes when your friend is your emotional pack mule, that weighs more so on them, more so than you realize.
It's exhausting.
It's very exhausting. Mm-hmm. Very, very exhausting.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So you have to be considerate enough to realize, like, okay, my problems ain't that big. Maybe I shouldn't burden my friend with it.
Or even ask them, like, hey, are you in a good enough space to where I can come to you about this? Like, don't make the decision for them, but at least ask them, like, hey, where are you at right now? Because we're all going through stuff.
Like,
and somebody may not,
Sometimes it's called like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah. Like, what you got going on? I need to talk to somebody. And, and that's fine. But if you can sit there and go get the help, by all means, do that.
Yeah, but let's get back to the list.
But yeah, we'll get back to the list. Here's another lighthearted one, which I'm sure, fellas, we can relate to. One that I like, which I always find is funny. Getting the "Have a Nice Life" text.
But listen.
I have got my fair share of those.
Mm-hmm. Do you know how many times
I got it from the same person? Oh,
and there's different iterations of it. It's hope you having fun with whatever bitch you with that you ignoring me for, or have a nice life, or take care of yourself.
You ain't gotta worry about me no more.
You ain't gotta worry about me no more. I'll find somebody who do worry.
Some variation, and it's all because you took a nap.
This is where, and the funny thing is, that's when my worry come in. Like,
you wake up like, what is going on?
I'm like, I was asleep, but okay.
You said it with that other bitch.
No, you take a nap. Who over there? I was like, you wake up to 10 missed calls, 9 texts, 3 voicemails.
I pulled up to your apartment. I saw a car in the parking lot I ain't never recognized.
It's like,
in an apartment complex?
In an apartment complex, chances are.
There's 500 other people that live out here, right?
But that car ain't been here the last few weeks.
It's like,
maybe somebody got a visitor. Maybe somebody's moms came to town.
Who you out there fucking?
But it's one of those things where it's just like, it's like, why do you...
Your mama got some yams.
It's like, why do I have to have a nice... niggas can't even sleep. Like, I had a long day, girl. I work, like, me personally, it's like, I have a 12-hour work day. And it's just like, well, not 12 hours, but 10 hours, but it's basically 12 by the time I get home. And it's just like, man, I'm tired. I'm taking that. Not only do I go to work, I come back, eat, then I go to the gym, too. And then I have to sit there and do it all, rinse and repeat the next day.
And it's funny, because I was talking to a young lady one time. Nigga, I had worked, went to the gym, did some other shit, came home, was like, you know what? I'm going to lay on down. Take me a nap. Mm-hmm. I wake up. I have 35 text messages.
That's deep there.
15 missed calls. And 3 voicemails. Oh, so you just gonna ignore me? You ain't gonna respond?
Have a nice life.
Oh, have a nice life. Got that one like 6. That was like 16 of the damn text messages.
It'd be like, have a nice life. I'm about to go sit on some big right now.
Okay. And I was just like,
don't talk to me no more. And then get mad when you don't. You're like, what you mean?
I was like, I had a really long day and I was asleep. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that you were asleep. Why didn't you say anything? Because I was asleep.
Answer your own question. Answer your own question.
Like, the fuck?
While we're on stuff, this is gonna be a good one because this is something that has irked me.
Chloe, I could not text her before I lay down. Thank you very much. I was trying to go to sleep. She said I should have texted her before I lay down.
About to take a nap. Don't panic. Don't panic. I'm going to bed.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie.
I'm going to sleep.
Ain't gonna lie. I was in that situation where I was.
But if you have to do that,
red flag.
If you have to do that, we got to
red flag.
I'm not gonna tell you I'm going to sleep. That's a red flag.
I found myself texting like, "Hey, I'm about to take a nap."
You doing
check-ins? I fucking texting you that I'm about to take a nap for
Hey,
like I'm doing something wrong for taking me a nap.
I know you said you was gonna call me at 3, and it's 2:59. I gotta take a shit. Hold on, don't call yet because I ain't gonna be able to answer.
Like if you don't, then it's a problem. Which
red flag.
Which that segues into another one that I just.
Thank you. Most of the time, the nap just happens. Exactly.
Yeah, you just fall asleep. You next
you turn on something, just doze off.
Do you know how many times I've been sitting in my living room, in my armchair,
just
watching TV, or playing my PS5
and
just fall asleep. Nigga, I have fallen asleep recording the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, you have.
He have.
Like,
it might be a problem.
get this man a sleep study. So the next one, which this leads into, the segue from the Have a Nice Life text, if she starts an argument just out of boredom, and I say that because you have some women, and we'll say men, but we talk about the women right now.
Okay. All right.
Where they feel like things is going too well. Everything is cool. Tick all the boxes. But it's like, wait a minute. Can't be right. Too good to be true. I had someone tell me this today.
Today?
There has to be something.
Mm-hmm.
Something has to be going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know what? You don't have nothing to talk to your homegirls about at brunch while y'all having mimosas. You don't have anything to put into the group chat because things is going well. Meanwhile, your homegirls is telling you so-and-so's tripping. My man getting on my nerves. We argued today. You know, another friend. This guy I'm talking to is sitting there, and, you know, he's too slow on the text, or he posted this, and I texted, he didn't call. You have nothing to contribute to the conversation.
No, it's just lame to be happy now.
You feel like the odd person out.
It's lame to be happy. You can't be like, well, I hate y'all going through that, but
the first thing said, as soon as you don't respond back quick enough, he inconsistent.
Yeah. He playing games. He's doing this. And so...
Don't play with me, boo-boo. Play with yourself.
To sit there and to fit in with the group.
I made myself come cool here anyway.
To fit in with the group. to feel like you can contribute to the conversation. Oh, boy. That's a different podcast for a different day.
Hey, that's a whole other episode.
That's a different episode.
That's a whole other episode.
Find the right scene. Yeah, you there right.
I will say, you know, they feel like they can't contribute to the group. They feel left out. Dang, I ain't got nothing to talk about.
I ain't got no drama.
Misery loves company. They sitting there, you know, the homegirls are talking about all these problems. They don't want you to come in
and
here with all this
good
good stuff.
And niggas do it too.
And guys do it too.
Niggas do it too.
We're just talking about the women right now. We had the fellas earlier.
But niggas do it too.
You know, it's one of those things. It's like,
definitely do.
But you know, it's one of those things. It's like, dang, girl, you can't cook, but you can start an argument from scratch. It's just like, I don't understand.
But you can't bake no cakes.
It's like, how you can sit here. You can sit there. You can't boil water, but you know, the minute you need the recipe for an argument,
boil water, you
know, now something comes up.
Can't cook a pack of ramen noodles.
God, man.
It's like, man, these are basic instructions. But my thing is,
you know, how to burn water.
My thing is, it's okay. It is okay to be the odd person out there. If you ain't got no drama, that's okay. That's how it's supposed to go. Relationships gonna have the up and downs. That's just part of it. But to feel like you want to feel included in the group because everybody's going through something, so it's just like, well, shoot, I need something to bring. How's everything going with you and so and so? Oh, we're good. They ain't trying to hear that. We came together to sit there, you know, and have a conversation and just have a man bashing session for the moment. It's going to happen, you know. But it's just like, if you don't have anything to contribute to the conversation, but you need something, you know, I got to sit there and contribute somehow. So you feel the need to just argue over nothing. It's like, dang, what happened?
And so, real quick, because of that, I know this is shameless. I don't give a fuck. Shout out to my wife, because she don't do that.
Shout out to Drusilla.
Now, we do sit back sometimes and, you know, we just discuss the tea. You know what I'm saying?
She do have some good tea, though. I will say that. Because she had something good last week.
She
had some good stuff last week.
It'd be extra sweet, too.
Yeah. I be sitting there waiting, too, like, ooh, girl, what happened? I feel like one of the homegirls sometimes. Hey, it's good.
And shout out to Taylor and Dia. Because, man, we do our little wine nights. I feel like one of the girls time with that.
Hey,
I
was
sitting there like, ooh, what happened?
No, you was where was Chuck at?
That one time.
Oh yeah, you
was that one time.
He was with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
She was my girl.
Get a load of this guy spending time with his lady.
Hey, shout out to my little yeah.
But and see, the reason why.
Chloe said there's also women friends who search your relationships trying to find something negative to talk about. You got to get rid of those kind of women too.
Absolutely, yes,
absolutely.
Yes. Because they just waiting. They're waiting their turn, or misery loves
company. And they don't even want a turn. They just don't want you happy with anybody else.
Because, and what I've noticed is sometimes too.
And that goes for the men too.
They feel like they'll lose access to you with whatever you were providing for them, whether it's emotional support or whatever else, whatever else they were good with you for. Once you get in a relationship, they lose that part of you now. So they want that back. So let's go ahead and disrupt this.
You ain't going out to the club with me as much no more. You start arguing with that nigga.
I didn't want to go to the club anyway.
Right. But, like I said, some of these red flags, go on to the next one. For that, the segue in, prefers being...
It's definitely just trauma.
Prefers being in bad relationships.
Huh?
I'll explain.
Who wants that?
Some people's type, some people like tall people. Some people like more athletic people.
Okay.
Some people like thick people. Some like slim, thick people.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little thick.
Some say you gotta be 2 something to do something. But you also have some people where their type is trash. And I say this because the reason why I say that is because, one, they feel like that's what they deserve, which goes into a trauma situation, which goes back to what we talked about earlier. Get some help, therapy, work it out, figure out why that is. 2, they feel like things would be too boring otherwise. If not, like, dang, things is going well, then we don't argue, we don't sit there, we don't fight about nothing, we agree, we're on the same page with a lot of stuff and everything, and they feel like it's boring because of what they sat there and dealt with in the past. They're not being gaslit. They're not finding themselves in unnecessary and petty arguments and things like that. They're finding themselves not necessarily hanging out with the same type of crowds anymore, so they feel like, life will be boring. You don't have drama. It's one of those things, it's the devil you know versus the devil you don't. And the unfortunate thing about that is you have, perfectly compatible people, but they feel like there's no excitement there. It's like, dang, you don't want to argue about nothing? This is something I've personally experienced. It's like, why are we arguing? Why do we need to? What's there to argue about? I don't want to argue. That's a lot of energy. But you want to argue with me because...
It's a little weird not to argue.
And it's just like, why are we not?
Used to it.
But if it's something that you're used to...
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, and if it's something... I
got PTSD.
And if it's something that you're used to...
It's all right, Chuck.
I appreciate you, Doc.
And if normal feels boring, then you're going to be like, okay, something's wrong here. And the irony of it is, the wrong thing is that you want something to be wrong. And so, to not sound too on the incel nice guy route with some of this, having been in these types of situations before, and you wonder, it's just like, dang, this is the whole, well, she likes the bad boys type, philosophy that we used to experience in our younger years and things like that. Or, I wish I could find a guy like you. And it's just like, well, shoot, I am a guy.
I'm right here.
I am a guy like me. Or she don't want Russell Wilson. She wants Future to act like Russell Wilson. Or things, and it's like, what? That may be true. That may very well be true. The guy that she knows is emotionally unavailable, that is not going to be supportive and all that. So she wants those positive qualities.
Not realizing that if you want Future to act like Russell Wilson, you just really want Russell Wilson.
Exactly. But the thing is, it's like, okay.
She don't want what Russell Wilson look like.
She may find that that
guy qualities, not
you may
she need to buy a rose.
You may want these good qualities to come from a bad person. And it's like, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that. I don't go to KFC and ask for a cheeseburger. That's just not something that they provide.
I want to try that though.
But it's just like, you're just not going to get that from there. Yeah. It's just that's not our MO. That's not our gimmick. That's not what we have. It's just like, well, so you're not going to give me a cheeseburger? You were never going to get one. You were never going to get one. But to sit here,
you gotta treat it. What? You just ain't gonna get it from here.
Yeah, and it's just like there's other places where you can get it from. But it's just like, I don't want to shop there. And it's just like, okay, well, it's just one of those things where it's just like, okay, well, how am I going to get it? You're going to have to sit there and go to the place that sells burgers. I don't want to go to the place that sells burgers.
It's like the place that sells burgers and then sells spaghetti and pizza.
But it's just like, but it's like, you're not going to get that from there, and it's just like, okay.
That's a red flag, niggas that eat fish and spaghetti.
I mean, that's a step. Wait, what?
Fast food spaghetti?
Fast food spaghetti?
Fish and spaghetti.
Well, that's like an actual meal for some folks.
That's a red flag.
Thing.
I mean, It is.
Yeah.
Only niggas I can talk about it from up top.
I mean, I ain't never ate fish with spaghetti, but I ate fried
like
chicken
fried, like yeah.
with spaghetti.
Now chicken spaghetti is one thing, but I digress. With that, another thing, you know, this is going to get a little bit more serious. You know, and I don't want to get too deep into the weeds of it. But if she offers sex as a gift,
she is the gift.
and when I say that, I mean, you know, you're doing things for her. You know, y'all are going on dates, doing all that stuff like that, and her feeling like her doing something for you is just sex.
Nah, she going all out like she doing things.
No.
She just laying there.
No. I mean, pillow princess, whatever you call it. What I'm saying is, let's say you're doing things for, you know, you're going out, you're taking her places, you got her favorite flower, you know she wanted to sit there and go to the museum. She wanted to sit there and go to what's the concert they just announced with everybody. They just released other artists for this upcoming
Lovers and Friends.
Lovers and Friends.
Oh, yeah.
Let's say you got her ticket to Lovers and Friends. You sat there. And
crazy.
you know, you're just like, hey, you know, go out here and buy yourself something nice. You're doing all this stuff, and the only thing she does for you is just like, you know, here's some buns. Your birthday rolls around. Here's some buns.
Hey,
you know, bank holiday. Here's some buns.
I ain't gonna lie.
Your birthday.
That's very sad.
Anniversary. Buns, and that's it. That's all you get. It's like, dang, why you gonna do something for me? Well, I am the prize, or I am the gift.
I ain't gonna lie though.
And it's just like, okay.
Give me the buns, but give me something else.
But it's just like, okay, you know, it's
Man,
part of
going all that.
No, if it's part of a normally healthy relationship, you know, cheeks gonna be there. You know. But it's like that's it.
5,000, nah.
It's like, but dang, that's it. You know, your birthday rolls around. You know.
I feel you though.
And, you know, she got you tickets to see Ant-Man. Okay, cool, thank you.
Oh.
You know, it's coming up.
And she topped it off while you watching.
You know, well, I don't know. That's you gonna end up on the
I
registry.
gotta give it up.
you gonna end up on the registry. You doing that? But you know, it's just like,
I'm about to be a slut tonight. Hey,
listen,
it's like that's what you're doing. You know.
I got
now she bought you some Finny draws to sit there and go, well, okay, all right, we can talk about something. Hey, but it's like if that's it,
I did some things for that.
Yes, you should have. But but it's one of those things where it's just
hey, yo,
like,
what kind of things you did? I need to say. I need to get one.
Hey, I did some things in the PS5.
Yeah, but it's something if that's what it is, it's just like, okay, you know, your birthday rolls around all of a sudden. She didn't get you anything. She didn't no clothes. No, it doesn't have to be something extravagant or anything. But something that you know,
something.
It's the thoughtfulness of it.
Yeah, buy me some Shacks.
It's like something that you know. No, I don't know about that.
Buy me.
But it's just like, you know,
I like to eat that ain't really sold all the time.
You know, you took me to my favorite restaurant. You know,
you want some pizza?
But, you know, take me to my favorite restaurant, or you know, you got me, you know, a book from my favorite author.
Niggas don't read.
You know, I'm just spitballing here, but you know, it's just like just something where you know that there's thought went into it. But it's just like, you know, it comes across as lazy.
Cologne.
You know, it comes across as lazy.
Your favorite cologne you like smelling.
And if you're not doing all that, you know, and it's just like, okay, well, you know, not that you be disappointed, it's like, dang, cheeks again. You know, and it's just like
I know. I hate to bring him up.
Well, you know, it's just like, dang.
Hey, yo.
I hate to bring him up, but in the words of Kanye, she got you a new sweater. For Christmas, she got you a new sweater. Put it on, give her a kiss, and tell her do better.
But you know, it's just one of those things where,
but
it like I said, it can come across as lazy, and low effort. You know, that's just like, dang, I feel like you could have done more.
But at what point do we blame ourselves for letting women think that's why we're doing what we're doing?
Right. And I think because as men of what the value that we've placed on it, we can hold ourselves to blame for that. We
literally admit to doing all these things just so, in the words of Fetty Wap, Charlie Wilson, and Masego, can I get to the yams?
Right.
Sweet.
So yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's you know, we're partially to blame for this. That is just like, you know, because sometimes we want things to be transactional. I took you out on a date. You know, I flew you out. I know that's so. It's just like the expectation is created, so we've placed that value.
I must agree. I ain't agreeing with this.
But it's like we've placed that value on sex to the point to where it's just like, okay, but it's like, this is what you wanted, right? Okay, so here you go. You know, not saying that it's not important or anything like that, but we've placed it on such a high pedestal that we felt like, okay, this is the ultimate. We get this, we good. But it's just like, okay, cool, sex is over and all that stuff like that. Then, you know, she didn't ask me how my day went. You know, I'm going through some things right now mentally.
Because
whatever.
Perfect example of that is you see the stories of the women who get, you know, their flights paid for to go visit somebody.
Uh-huh.
She didn't ask him to pay for it. He volunteered to pay for it.
Right.
Then he gets mad because she didn't give up the cheeks.
There was just a recent story about this, yeah.
Now, in the whole agreement of her coming to visit, a discussion about her giving up the cheeks never happened.
Right.
It was assumed by him. Which means he placed the value of him paying for everything. The price tag was, give me that ass.
Right. I mean, it made it purely transactional, yeah.
And so, at that point, on the flip side of it, it makes me think like, all right, we did it to ourselves.
We did. No, and I will say that. That's why I was leading like, you know, we're to blame for what it's turned into. Now, if the conversation is had, like, hey, you know what time it is when I get there and all that stuff like that, cool. But if no conversation is had, you know, we can't have that expectation that, okay, well, she didn't flew out here. Well, why else did you fly out here? Type of conversation. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, because you said we was going to do X, Y, and Z and all that stuff, and sex never came up. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, now you can't get mad because it's like, you said, I want you to see this. I want to take you here. I want to do all that stuff like that. Okay, I don't know why you only got a king-size bed or anything. It's just like, no one told you to do that. You know, so yeah, the man takes the blame for that. As far as relationships go, I guess I should have, you know, prefaced it with that as using sex as a gift of, you know, hey, this is my show of appreciation. I'm going to sit there and mop you off again like I did yesterday and the day before and all that stuff. So, you know, so we'll continue from that. We'll go to a funny one because this is something that I still see. And we'll jump to the men here in a little bit, but because I've got some more. But two things I want to touch on. We'll do a funny one first that I still see. And I've got a story to go along with this one. Covering the face of the person that she's out with an emoji.
The sock rolls out.
With, you know, just something. A heart. Whatever it is. You know, she went out, you know, boom, covered his face with something. Oh, y'all don't need to know. You know, we're going to soft launch this man. We're going to do whatever. And when I see these things, I laugh. Because it always cracks me up because glaring double standard. We couldn't do this. You know, if I go out here and I post a picture, I'm out on some date with someone and I cover this lady's face up. What you trying to hide? You know, why are you playing with her?
She must be ugly.
You know, you ain't proud of her and all that stuff, but, you know. But what I see, and I recently shared this post this lady had done, it was a Christmas, she was matching pajamas with some guy. Talking about when he puts a ring on to them paraphrase and then like she'll show up with that. Mm-hmm. My thing is,
keep your secret.
If we go out and you were so overjoyed with me being with you that you have to cover my face, I don't need to go nowhere with you.
Nah, Chloe, that's very fair.
What happened?
She said that's not a red flag. That's not fair.
My thing is because if you're gonna put us in there, you're gonna put us out there, and you're gonna show everybody. Oh, here I'm so happy, and I want everybody to sit there and see my happiness and share. If you're gonna be as public with all this stuff, I knew a girl. I went to high school with her. We also went to college together. She got married, and we ain't see the guy. I'm like, on your wedding day, the most important day of your life, you know, up until that point. And we ain't see him? Your husband, the man you agreed to spend the rest of your life with, we saw her. We saw, you know, the venue.
Okay, there you go.
We saw
context with good. I would say.
Yeah, we saw the bridesmaids.
Is it our business?
We saw all this stuff. Hey, I'm married, y'all, and we didn't see who this. All I knew was with some black dude that she married. That's it. And then her reason was he doesn't like his pictures taken on his wedding day.
Oh my goodness!
On the wedding day, the man doesn't want to be seen. That we got a problem here.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to sit there and show off your husband. You know,
yeah, he getting buns up. So.
You know, so my thing is like, nah, we got a problem here. But, you know, when I see these people post these things, and it's just like, oh, we're covering up, we're doing all this stuff, you know, y'all don't need to know, just know that I'm happy. How happy are you that you can't show nobody? That lets me believe to know, you know, that the why of your man is silent. Because some other woman sitting there seeing this and might recognize him.
Bars. I know that went over some
might see a tattoo, you know, a hairstyle, or whatever else. And it's just like, wait a minute. And we've seen it happen. And then when stuff falls apart, I had someone sit there and tell me that I had a fragile ego. Because I was just like, why did you cover his face? And then it was, men's egos are so fragile. Needless to say, it fell apart in a couple of weeks. And the joy that I received from seeing that, you know, it was my petty moment, but it was just like, no. It was just like, you know.
Somebody
it's just
like,
look.
there you go, there's a real reason.
You know, it's just like, because you didn't want to sit there and say, y'all give me some time. No, we ain't going to give you no time. You wanted to sit there and publicize all of this? No, we ain't going to give you no time. You wanted to sit there and show off and brag and all this stuff like that? No. We need to sit there. You need to be as loud with this. You know, and I just laugh at it, you know, because the people that really are probably talking with somebody or quote unquote dating somebody that they probably shouldn't be do this type of stuff. Because it's like, okay, how many of us are talking to them? You know, I don't want everybody, they're not tagged or anything like that. If I sit there, y'all see me out with something, y'all gonna know who she is, she's gonna be tagged, y'all gonna see her face, y'all gonna see all this stuff. I don't need to cover up. And the thing is, you rarely see guys do this.
But you also social media whore.
But you also see, you know, in this day of social media.
I just mess with you.
I know. In this day of social media, you know, the need for validation is very high.
It is.
It's very high. You want to be seen. You want people
very
to know
much
who you're
a
with.
pick me mindset.
Right. Like, hey, I'm out here. I got my man, and it's just like, okay, well, at what cost? You know,
you got somebody else's man.
To where you have to sit there. Your soulmate isn't married to someone else. You know, God or whoever you pray to and believe in all that stuff didn't put, you know, your person, they're not presently in a relationship with somebody else. They're not married to somebody else. You can't date, it's like, ladies, you can't date a married man.
Now, on the flip side of that, as much as a red flag that is for a woman, it's a red flag about the guy, too, if he doesn't have a problem with it. Mm-hmm. Because 9 out of 10 times, the reason he doesn't have a problem with it is he's hiding something and he knows I ain't going to be seen because she's going to cover my face.
Right. So it's on both ends. Because it's like, okay, well, I know she covered my face anyway, so I'm good. Her, I don't need people to know who I'm talking to, so I'm good, too. So it's like, how happy are you? You know.
Keep it private till it's permanent.
Yeah, you know.
That's what they say.
Well, that's what they say.
But yeah, real quick. So, what are you doing next weekend?
Next weekend, that's the weekend of the what?
20-something.
What's today's date?
21st.
21st? Only thing I have going on next weekend, I am doing a 28 days of black cosplay photo shoot with some folks. But that's about it.
Is that like in the earlier part of the day?
Yeah, it's at noon.
What much you got?
I said 28 days. Where do you get month? We're doing it for February.
What day you got?
But it doesn't matter. They just needed 28.
Anyway. All right, so
left behind.
This is what I want to do.
Hey, yo.
We're going to do a part 2
of
red flags next week.
Okay.
And we're going to pick up where we left off.
Okay.
And continue this conversation. Because I feel like there's so much more we can go into.
Oh, yeah. There's still plenty on this list.
There's still plenty on the list. There's more that we can add to the list.
Correct.
And I kind of want to touch base with some people, get their opinions from like our listeners and stuff.
Sure.
To add into it. So, next week, episode 3 will be Red Flags Part 2.
I like it.
So pull up, catch a vibe, tune in. But anybody got anything to say before we close out?
No, follow me on my socials. You know, Instagram, Swole Business. TikTok, the same, Swole Business. Twitter, Swole Business, where business is spelled B-I-Z. And yeah, that's it. Y'all be safe out here.
Yeah, follow me, Debonair_gentleman. Follow L.H.podcast on Instagram. L_house podcast on Twitter. Licka House podcast on TikTok, YouTube. Follow Mr. _CTP. Cause this man over here chilling. But
I'm chilling. I'm just letting y'all get it out, man.
Well, yeah, this has been the Licka House podcast, and pull up, catch a vibe.
Oh, dang.
Peace.
Whatever goes around comes around. Every lifetime